back to my YouTube channel. Did you notice anything? I have a new intro. I'll talk more about that later, but first I do want to talk about the illustration. What I'm going to be doing is drawing my OCs as if they were in a manga page. I thought it would be lots of fun and kind of a nice exercise to learn how to draw in a different way, so I was super excited to start. The main character that I'm drawing in this picture is Kikuyo, and the little guy at the bottom that I'm going to be drawing is Takuya. He has a crush on her, and they end up being a couple later in the story I wrote. I wrote it a few years ago. It's called Until My Memories Fade, and it's about this girl and guy, and the girl, Kikuyo, loses her memories every 3 months. And I know it sounds like that one show that I've never watched, I forget what it's called, something Friends? Ishikan Friends? 1 Week Friends or something? But I had no idea that existed, and I was actually brokenhearted when I heard about that series because its plot at least sounds so much like mine. But anyways, it wasn't my original idea. I just want to say that I wasn't copying because I bet if you guys saw that, you would totally think that it sounds like a complete ripoff. But sometimes there's coincidences like that, so you don't need to feel bad when your stories sound like something else, because that happens. Though right now in the drawing, as you can see, I wasn't really sure about how her face was looking, so I had to keep changing things and editing things because I felt like her overall proportions were just so off. I made her crying because it's a scene where they're holding hands and then she looks up at him and she's crying, but she's also smiling, and that's like the moment in the story when he really falls in love with her. But I ended up not keeping the tears dripping down her face because I didn't really like the way that they were looking. And I actually traced over the entire original illustration that I had done because I felt like I needed new line art because I didn't think I'd be able to add tones on top of it later because of the way that I had to select it. It's kind of complicated and you can't really see why, but I think I had put white over it, and if you draw with white, it's not transparent anymore, and Medibang Paint won't let you put tones. At least I don't know how to put tones on illustrations like that. Kikuyo is a very quiet and sweet girl. She doesn't talk much. She's also very smart. And Takuya is a popular boy that talks a lot and is a little bit messy, but he ends up completely falling for her, and it's just basically a romance story. Beginning to add the tones was difficult because I didn't really know what ones to use because I never work with tones. You can see I have a little reference picture. It's from Last Game. I really love Last Game. It's a manga I absolutely adore. I'm still trying to get my hands on volume 9. And for other manga I've been reading, I also read The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, which I would totally recommend. It seems like it would be depressing or something, and I avoided it because I thought it would be, but let's just say that the title is misleading. It's a complete comedy, and I think it's just called that because he acts annoyed sometimes. He's a cat, and he acts like a irritable cat, but it's not what you would think at all from the title. I decided to make her closer up because I thought that that would look better, and now I had to start trying to add tones to fill in the rest of her body because I hadn't originally added enough tone. For some reason, I had figured that the text would completely cover it up, but it would not. And when I did this, it gave it a texture where you could tell where I added more tone on top of other areas. But I actually ended up liking this look. I thought that it looked unique and kind of fun, so I actually decided to leave it. I am now adding in Takuya, who does not have eyes because he's just like a little blushing illustration. He normally has eyes, but he doesn't have eyes in this illustration because sometimes in manga, when the faces aren't as close up, they won't draw eyes because it might kind of look weird. And it's kind of funny because I'm tracing over my sketch on paper, but when I do that, you could see the other sketch's eyes of Kikuyo through it. And my original sketch on paper of Kikuyo looked terrible, but I'm glad that digitally it actually turned out looking super cute. I promised I would talk about my intro, so I guess I will now. I do indeed have a new intro. I had 20 extra minutes of time when I was working on this drawing because I finished, and I decided to make a new intro. It's really simple, just a pencil drawing across a piece of paper, but I think that it turned out good, and I wanted something that I wouldn't get embarrassed by or feel like the art wasn't good anymore quickly. And since it's really simple, it's literally a pencil, I might eventually think that it's too simple or lazy, but I certainly won't think that it's an ugly illustration. I was getting really tired of my other one, so I'm glad that I updated it. Adding tones is actually more difficult than I thought it would be. It takes a lot of effort to decide which tones to use and how to layer them. For shading in manga, I noticed that like they pretty much only use different types of tones for shading. And I usually draw in color, and I don't have to deal with like different tones. I just, shade it regular color. But using tones is so interesting and different. It's actually lots of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to end up adding a tone over the entire illustration of her to give it more of that kind of papery texture sort of look, because I really wanted it to completely look like a manga page. I think her eyes turned out good. Usually when I draw Kikuyo, her eyes do not turn out good, but I think they finally turned out the more thin but still cute eyes that I always want to give her. And I wanted to add flowers around it really badly, because a lot of times in manga, like when there's like a romantic scene, they'll add flowers all around it, and I had to do that. And now I have the words. Of course, it's a manga, so you gotta read it opposite how you would read it usually in America. So instead of reading a book like right to left, it's left to right. So yeah. I don't think I ended up adding a whole lot more. I kind of just messed with things and was trying to see if there were any other effects that I would like to add to the picture. It's not like I usually do, because usually then I just go like, at the end of a picture I add a whole bunch of brushes. But in this case, the only thing I could really do is tones and maybe some more lines and maybe clean up some areas if I felt like they were still messy or just not as good as they could be. I added a darker tone like under her hair, because I thought that would look nice. I've been really excited about manga ever since I got my manga bookshelf, so this was super fun and I would totally recommend trying it. It's totally a new experience and it's an absolutely great one. There's not much more. We're about to see the finished picture, and here it is. Here is my finished manga page from my story until my memories fade. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.